Hey guys, it's Ivan from Indoor Ivan. I thought for my first video I would do a top 3 video of plants that do well in lower light conditions. These are also plants that I recommend to customers who are looking for low light plants that require little maintenance. I know that there are videos out there already on low light plants, but some of those recommendations might not work in your home, or at least they don't work in mine. For example, if you take the fern, it's great in low light conditions, but it does require humidity. So if you have dry air, such as in my classroom, they end up crisping and not looking their best. So these are my plant choices that do well in Canadian winters that don't require a humidifier setup and that have, for me, remained bug-free, especially with spider mites, because those can be quite annoying to deal with in the winter. So coming in at number 3, I would suggest peace lilies. This is my smallest of my peace lilies that sits by my bed, which is fairly dark. They have lush green leaves and occasionally have flowers that look like calla lilies. What's great is that they also clean our air. They do well in medium to low light, so that could mean a north-facing window or several feet away from a south-facing window. If you find that your peace lily isn't flowering, this is doing okay, you might want to try to give it a little bit more light. Watering is pretty straightforward. Once you notice that it starts to get a little wilty, kind of like wilted lettuce, make sure that you water it then. You don't want to let it dry out too much because that's extra stress on the plant. I have some people asking if they continue to grow their 4-inch plants, if it will get bigger, like to the size of 10-inch tropicals. Unfortunately, there are different varieties out there, so what you're buying as a flowering peace lily is roughly the size it'll stay. If the green leaves aren't your thing, there are variegated peace lilies that are becoming more common. I have one that is called Domino. Coming in at number 2 are snake plants. They're fairly easy to find in big box stores such as Walmart, Home Depot, or IKEA. If you're looking for specific varieties such as this whalefin, you might actually have to head out to a greenhouse. They are able to tolerate low light conditions such as that found in our house, although they do prefer more light if possible. I let these guys dry out in between waterings, so you're looking at maybe watering once a week in the summer and then every 3 to 4 weeks in the winter. Of course, this depends on how fast your soil dries up. There are different varieties of snake plants out there, ranging in height, variegation, different leaf structures. Some do require a bit more light, such as my dwarf samurai, but overall they make good houseplants for low light conditions, and they do well in offices as well. Because they grow fairly slowly, and they like to be root bound, you can leave one in the same pot for a while without having to constantly repot it. My top plant to recommend are Zizi plants. I really like how glossy their leaves look, and with how slow they grow, they almost seem like they're fake. This plant helps to clean the air, and it also handles neglect fairly well. I've forgotten to water mine before in the classroom, and the potato-like rhizomes, which you can kind of see one right there, they'll shrivel up, but with some good watering, they end up plumping back up. In terms of watering, I like to let these guys dry out similar to my snake plants because they don't like having their feet wet, and because I'm a fairly lazy person, I don't have time to individually wash these leaves, so I usually put these in the shower, and that helps to get rid of the dirt and dust that settles on their leaves and helps them looking fresh and glossy. Zizi plants are fairly easy to find, though there are some that can be harder to find. There's a dwarf variety called Zizi, a black leaf variety called Raven, and then there's also a variegated variety. Similar to snake plants, they tolerate lower light but prefer brighter conditions. For my Raven and my variegated Zizi plant, I put them under a grow light just because I want to provide them with ideal conditions. Well, I hope that video was informative, or at least has confirmed some of the plant choices that you've made already. Living in Canada, growing tropical plants can be challenging. Our summers are really short, so I put my plants out back in June, and now it's already September, and I'm starting to think about what plants need to be coming back inside, just because our overnight temperatures are starting to get a little bit chilly. But with that said, with the right plant choices, it's really easy to create that jungle oasis outside or inside your home. Until next time, bye.